Today we're going to talk about the Acouphene, which is the acoustic or audio equivalent to the phosphene, and the Somatophene, which is the sense of touch equivalent to the phosphene. These all can be called the Phenic system, and they're all very good at integrating new information. That's what your sensory organs are for, to integrate new information from external stimuli. But each sensory organ is especially good at a specific kind of information. The phosphene, or the internal sensation of light, is good at wisdom and insight and helping your imagination. The olfaphene, or the sense of smell, is good at memory and memorization because your olfactory organ is very closely tied to your memory. The acouphene, or the sense of hearing, which we're talking about today, is the best for visualization. And we're also going to talk about the somatophene, which is the best for instincts and intuition, as well as moving and feeling energy and electricity throughout your body. In a future video, we'll talk about the gustaphene, which is the sense of taste equivalent to the phosphene. And it's important to note that none of these are hallucinations. Hallucinations not only have a negative connotation, but aren't accurate in describing these kind of sensations, these internal or subjective generated sensations. These are the actual imprint or generation of signals that are associated with certain stimuli. For example, you may be able to feel the somatophene if I describe a fork dragging across a glass plate. You may be able to think about or remember strongly enough something like that, or nails on a chalkboard, to get that same kind of squirming or cringy kind of chills or pins and needles sort of feeling. You may also miss someone, or maybe a pet, or your pillow, or something so strongly that you can feel the texture as if you were actually there. This is also why you may get those same kind of electrical tingles if you listen to ASMR. Now, obviously, ASMR involves actually listening to something, and this is why we're talking about the acouphene and the somatophene together, because they are very closely linked. To understand why that is, we need to go over some of the physiology of the body. The entire body internally is wrapped in this connective tissue, this matrix called the fascia. It supports and wraps around every organ, vessel, nerve, bit of bone, ligament, everything inside your body. It's made up of these bands of fiber that has liquid in between, and it also wraps around your lymphatic system. It's the reason why your body is able to communicate with itself across the entire body. It connects everything together. And as well as containing the lymphatic system, it helps you to stay healthy. It's part of your immune system. It's part of your circulatory system. It's part of your metabolic system. It's part of everything. We can talk about it more in depth another time, but the point for this is that one of the ways the fascia communicates is through audio vibrations. So the fascia is like a giant string instrument inside of your body. It's kind of like how guitar or harp strings work. The vibrations can be translated and communicate information from one part of the body to the next. So the fascia connected to your ears and your sense of hearing is able to translate information throughout your body. This is why different audio frequencies or acoustic phenomena or ambient noise can make you feel different kinds of sensations throughout your body. Again, because the body is connected by this sort of string instrument, different audio signals are going to reverberate across different parts of your body. The somatophene is really important for regulating the nervous system and bringing down electrical activity or innervation from the brain to give it a break. We lead very dissociative lifestyles with TV, phones, driving, different kinds of jobs, and everything that involves us kind of cutting ourselves off at the neck so that we're just in our head. And all that extra metabolic activity produces free radicals and inflammation and buildup of lymphatic fluid. So it's important to have somatic sensations, the somatophene, to help bring down those nerves and give your swelling and brain a break. Right, if we're looking at the innervation from visual signals and the autonomic nervous system, it helps bring us down out of the dissociative psychosis and different kind of frantic states. So we could say the somatophene is feeling textures as if you were there when you're not actually there. And because of that, you're able to help to move or manipulate different electrical activity in your body. For example, if you are listening to something like ASMR, you can learn to consciously kind of move that electrical emanation around. This is generally what's called grounding or finding your center. It's helping to move the flow of energy out of your brain and into different parts of your body. It's also good for healing trauma and learning how to regulate your nervous system. So if you're dissociating, you can use one of those really grating memories to help bring you back to your somatosensory signals, like nails on a chalkboard or a knife cutting glass or something like that. Even though those are generally uncomfortable, those can be the easiest ways to quickly get a sort of jolt of energy back into your body. I'm thinking of that in cases where you don't have access to the Acouphene you can use to help the somatosensory signals. So just feeling leaves or finding new textures to touch, it's all about that somatic sensation of different objects and texturescapes. And finally, the last note on the somatophene is it's very good at instinct and intuition because you're able to pick up these different vibratory signals that may have information that if you're cut off at the head, if you're not in somatic experience, you're going to miss out on all of these different emanations and what they mean. Kind of like the feeling eyes on the back of your head or getting goosebumps when something you can't really explain is happening. You're missing out on these different signals if we're always dissociating. In summary, the somatophene is essentially therapeutic and pleasurable and teaching you how to move electricity in your body. Now we'll go back to the Acouphene, which you can get with circulatory issues, so it can be a sign of problems like that, or ringing in your ears, or even hearing voices or other kinds of noises, right? Just subjective experiences of sound. So those different Acouphenes can be good for diagnostic purposes. They're not really what we're going to focus on. We're focusing on the Acouphenes, which allow you to integrate new information that are important for being able to actually take advantage of them. The Acouphene is good for synchronizing the brain. Because you have signals coming in from one ear and the next, the brain likes to organize itself somewhere in between those different levels. If you've seen the Chladni figures, you may get an idea of the way in which the neurons in your brain are organizing when exposed to different frequencies. And the reason why the Acouphene is the best for visualization is because visual signals and audio signals like to synchronize. Enough visual stimuli could give you audio sensations, and enough auditory sensations could give you visual imagery. There's all kinds of ambient music, binaural beats, trip hop, classic music, jazz. Whatever you're listening to, your brain is going to synchronize to that. That's why you listen to music that will hype you up before you work out, or you're listening to nostalgic music when you want to remember stuff. Whatever you're listening to, it's going to help your brain and therefore your whole body get into that state of mind. But as I said, the Acouphene is the best in the Phenic system for visualization. So how do we utilize that? It's actually a lot simpler than the afterimage phosphene, which is looking at white light and using that to mix mental energy or activity to encode that information to enhance whatever it is that you're doing. With the Acouphene, all you need to do is plug the cartilage over your ear and do that for both sides, and then approach information, whether you're reading something, studying, thinking about something, whatever it is that you're doing, you're going to kind of give it a substrate or a body for those thoughts to use. The thoughts or whatever mental energy you're using, it'll feel as if it has its own structure, it'll be its own form. And this gives you so many more ways to approach or use it or interact with it. For lack of a better term, your thinking becomes almost three-dimensional or holographic. It's no longer sort of intangible. It's very much structured inside your brain because you've synchronized it. You've given it a body to work with. For that, you want to support your neck and you want to be sitting up straight and you want to be able to breathe. You don't want to strain the muscles or cut off the circulation. What you could also do, and you've probably done this as a kid, is just put 2 shells over your ear and you'll hear the ocean. What you're actually doing with plugging the ear or putting a shell over it is you're creating white noise. White noise is similar to white light in that it has all of the audible spectrum of frequencies that we can hear. It gives you the complete range of frequencies to work with. Try it out and you'll see how much strongly you can visualize something, you can learn or study whatever it is that you're doing. There's a lot more to get into, but that is it for this video, and thanks for watching.